Just a few hours after I published episode 80, which focused on the lack of communication from Mitch McConnell's team, they released another photograph. Interestingly, he appears in the exact same pose and expression as before. This new release has triggered a massive wave of fresh commentary speculating that the photo was generated by AI. I want to address this briefly before shifting to our main topic for today's video. If he has actually passed away, they could be trying to buy time to avoid a special election. Or perhaps they are staging a scenario reminiscent of Weekend at Mitchie's. Now, on to this week's episode. Hello and welcome to Critical Political. I'm Corey and you're watching The Political Void. This week, we are delving into the influence of lobbies and AIPAC specifically. Here we go. Operating as organized groups, political lobbies in the U.S. aim to influence public policies and legislation. Dominated by business interests, this sector sees federal spending top $4 billion each year, with more than 11,000 registered federal lobbyists providing representation. To propose specific rule changes or share information, lobbyists communicate directly with agency officials, congressional staff, and lawmakers. These groups are regulated by the Lobbying Disclosure Act and protected under the First Amendment right to petition the government. To shape federal and state laws, major industries, including finance, oil and gas, real estate, and pharmaceuticals, invest millions of dollars. Lobbying efforts span across all tiers of government, including local, municipal, county, state, and federal levels. Within Washington, D.C., the primary focus of lobbyists is typically members of Congress, though attempts have also been made to sway Supreme Court appointees and executive agency officials. The impact of lobbying on the political framework can be substantial. Notably, a 2014 study indicated that special interest lobbying bolstered the influence of elite groups, contributing to a transition in the country's political dynamics toward an oligarchy where ordinary citizens possess little or no independent influence. The primary arguments against political lobbying focus on how it breeds regulatory corruption, economic inequality, and unequal political influence. Critics, whose views are widely echoed in discussions on platforms like Reddit, consistently argue that affluent special interests undermine the integrity of fair governance. Because ordinary citizens and smaller public advocacy groups lack the immense financial backing of major lobbies, they face an uphill battle to be heard. As a result, public policies frequently tilt in favor of wealthy minority at the expense of the broader populace. Granting sweeping policy concessions to such a select few ultimately erodes the core principles of a fair and truly representative democracy. Lobbying is frequently identified as a driver of democratic deficit because it can motivate lax enforcement of existing regulations. Furthermore, when there is a minimal public focus on political processes alongside an influence of special interest funding, elected officials often vote counter to the preferences of their own constituents. Given such substantial leverage, it can be argued that significant campaign donations linked with lobbying may leave politicians feeling obligated to financial backers rather than the electorate. Critical Political, like numerous other YouTube channels, depends on viewers like you to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. Doing this tells the algorithm that you wish to keep receiving these videos. The American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC, is a major lobbying organization in the United States that promotes pro-Israel initiatives. Originally established in 1954 under the name American Zionist Committee for Public Affairs, it adopted its current name in 1959. The group focuses its efforts on the executive branch and the U.S. Congress, advocating for strategic alliances and military assistance for Israel. Furthermore, AIPAC actively participates in U.S. elections, collecting campaign contributions to back political candidates from both primary parties who favor a robust U.S.-Israel alliance. Within the United States, AIPAC operates as the country's most powerful interest group, while Israel is frequently cited as the primary recipient of American foreign aid. Consequently, if AIPAC targets you as an elected official for their advocacy efforts, they view you as a potential proponent of pro-Israel, anti-democratic policies. You are marked as a target. Maintaining a bipartisan strategy, AIPAC secures connections with leading politicians across both major parties, like Republican Mitch McConnell and Democrat Hakeem Jeffries. In its approach to campaign financing, the organization focuses primarily on congressional contests rather than presidential bids, dedicating substantial resources to high-stakes primary matchups instead of solely concentrating on the general elections. That this targeted group financial engagement expanded significantly in 2022 when the group introduced dedicated political action committees, including the AIPAC and its associated Super PAC, the United Democracy Project, to provide direct contributions to political candidates. In the volatile yet strategically vital Middle East, Israel has historically served as a highly capable and stable pro-Western partner, even sharing crucial technology and intelligence with the United States. However, they have now dragged the American military into an unnecessary conflict as Israeli leaders actively work toward the genocide of both the Palestinians and their neighboring nations. This immense power amassed by effectively buying members of Congress has brought us to a critical juncture where our leaders are deploying our own soldiers into a war aimed at controlling the region exclusively for Israel's interests. We are witnessing the immediate dangers of this control in real time. While the US president serves as a useful idiot for Netanyahu, besieged nations are actively moving to sabotage the global economy, all as the bottom 50% is pushed to the brink of insolvency. Undisclosed donations, PACs, and political lobbies must be completely stripped from our political system. Shielded as protected speech, lobbying is nothing more than legalized bribery services, ensuring that members of Congress are bought and sold like commodities. To ensure our voices matter, voters can actively show up and cast ballots for candidates who reject funding from AIPAC and other lobbies we oppose. By utilizing the AIPAC tracker, we can easily see which politicians have accepted their money. For those motivated to do more, running for office on a platform that explicitly rejects lobbyist funding is a powerful option. If nothing else, these steps make it clear which candidates we ought to avoid. Bill Press, American talk radio host, podcaster, liberal pundit, and author, said, "Lobbying is the world's second oldest profession." That's all for this week. Until next time, remember, your silence is compliance. Your voice is vital. Stand up, speak out, strike back. They don't know what they started. If you appreciate this content, please like, share, and subscribe. For updates, ring the bell. Your support truly helps the channel.